evening and welcome to Coffee Talk. 7 p.m. We're right at it on Monday. CR, hello, Creative Redundancy. Thank you for coming. We've got a few topics to talk about this evening. Uncle Al wanted to stir the pot. He sent me a couple of text messages saying, "Hey, talk about this." So I said, "What the hell?" Usually he tells me to calm down. He seems to be stoking the flames this evening. I hope you're doing well, CR. Hello, Bud Files. And KP Heathen, hello. How are things in Louisiana? Two in the house, according to my iPad. 3 likes. Idaho Garden Girl, welcome. There may or may not be as many people on this evening as normally are on, because I understand Camp Patton is having a live stream at the same time, so I'm sort of competing for viewers. You may spend a few minutes here and go over and visit with him. 5 in the house. Well, let me tell you some things in the news. They're doing transition right now, and they're still trying to figure out races that they still haven't called. It's almost been a week, and they're still counting votes. Like in Arizona, certain places are still counting votes, and there's a big stink. Pinball has a big solar generator giveaway. Okay, I don't think I follow that one. Nice and cool, that's good. We're in the weather situation here in Victoria where during the day it's in the 80s. Right now it's in the 80s, mid 80s. At night it drops down to 60-ish. This week there'll be some days when it's in the 50s at night. Dry, no rain. We're still in hurricane season. Free air conditioning for the next 6 months, yeah. Hello, Little Low Prepper. Welcome. So, we still have stuff going on. There are channels that are under attack by the woke. There are trolls. There are just trolls, and they'll come onto your channel and they just try to disrupt, or do things to say things to disrespect you or to cause grief. And then there are some that are basically there to try to stop you from live streaming. They will make a complaint. They'll do a report. They'll say you're talking about things that are not true, misinformation. They'll what they can to try to it's like their crusade in life is to try to promote their cause, but woke. And Melinda Elliott, hello. A few years ago when they started using that term woke, I said, woke? Well, I woke up today, had a good night's sleep, and I woke up. I'm awake. I guess that means I'm woke. No, 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 that's not what they mean by woke. And 50 degrees is warm, LOL. Okay. Okie doke. But, you know, a lot of the stuff that's going on, um, the election that just took place, when you look at the maps, it shows areas that voted red or voted blue. And most of your blue areas that voted blue are connected with large, densely populated cities. You've got little stains of blue, different places on the map, and very heavily populated. So, like, you know, most of the rural areas they're in red. And if you look at the map of the United States, like they're projecting, it shows all of these areas that are red, and it shows a few areas that are blue. The latest I've heard is 60% of the votes in California went for Kamala Harris, but that's up for Trump, and for the Republicans, 40% went Republican. So Trump got 40% of the vote, which is like 20-point difference. But you know, it wasn't. Well, in that state, it was a landslide. Yes, it was. But 9 counties in California that had previously voted blue, the majority in those 9 counties, and I'm sure they're probably semi-rural counties, voted red. The majority voted red. So if you look at a map in California, the counties right along the southern border with Mexico voted blue, and then all along the Pacific coast, those areas voted blue. But the majority of the state, as far as the you know, voted red. But they're not as densely populated as the areas that voted blue. And that's basically what you find. It looks like the Republicans will retain the House by a slim margin. They were at a slim margin, you know, right now. They control the House, but by a slim margin. They may pick up a couple of seats. I don't know. There's still 8 or 10 seats up for battle, and I think the Republicans need one of those seats in order to retain the majority. So then you start asking, well, Trump is going to appoint Stefanik, who is a Republican congresswoman from New York, to ambassador to the UN, I think. But when he does that, a Democrat is going to replace her. And who do you think the Democrat's going to appoint? Probably a Democrat. So that will lose one Republican vote. What happens if you're only up 1 or 2 votes? You can't afford to be appointing people in blue states when you know their governors are going to appoint Democrats. So they may have to rethink that one, especially if they're very close. If they don't pick up, if not 4 or 5 seats up, they can't really afford to do that, because during the course of the term, things happen. Things happen. People die. People have surgeries and things happen. People have to resign because of something happens. And depending on where it's at, you can lose your majority. Now in the Senate, you've got a 53, so they're up. They're 53. They got 53 seats, so they got a little cushion there. But then the other thing is they got some rhinos in the Senate. The senator in Alaska, Murkowski, she hates Trump. I think she voted for his impeachment. Um, the one in Maine, I think it's Maine, the woman in Maine, forget her name, she was no friend of Trump. So you've got a couple of them that are basically rhinos, at least a couple of them. And anything that's the least bit controversial or really conservative, they may vote against. So you start looking at that and it's like, well, yeah, he won substantially and he's got a mandate, but does he have the backup in the House and the Senate? And I would think that it should have been a blowout, and they should have picked up 10 or 12. That the Democrats had to defend something like 21 or 22 Senate seats. The Republicans had to defend like 11, I think 11. So they knew that the Republicans would be picking up the Senate this time because of the circumstances. But I think they probably should have done better than they did. Yeah, I like the border pick too. They're saying it's going to cost $11,000 per person to deport these people. $11,000. They've got to plug gaps in. They've got to plug gaps in the border fencing, in the wall. They got to plug the gaps in the wall because they just come through. The other thing is, what are they doing to stop them from coming through? You know, somebody was joking about, well, they need to put alligators or crocodiles or whatever in the river. Let loose a bunch of them. You know, let loose some of those cannibal Haitians along the border. Tell them, hey, bon appetit. You know, you hear about those over in Haiti where they're got this nut gang leader who barbecues his enemies. Maybe we need to deploy a few of those people at the border. And I'm joking. I'm joking. But I don't know if you want me talking about that kind of stuff. But it's in the blue states where you get the state law enforcement. You get some of these woke people, prosecutors and such, like the FBI. They're doing all sorts of rogue stuff, like they're going after Christians, that protest at abortion clinics, and they treat people who are trying to express their concerns like they're criminals, like these parents at school board meetings. They want to investigate them because they're against all this trans crap. Hello, Belinda. I'm on a little bit of a rant this evening. I have permission from Uncle Al to voice my opinion on a few things. Who knows, maybe this one will get demonetized. Oh, man. I had one taken down by YouTube 6-7 months ago. I guess that might be considered a strike. I don't know. Margie, hello Margie. Margie TV, my friend. Margie has a huge channel. Great content. Beautiful lady over in the Philippines, and sometimes she's in Taiwan. $. I will tell you that only membership. I don't do that. I don't, more power to you because you got a lot bigger channel than I do, and I'm sure you got people who, just fawn over you. And I like your content, or I would not leave you likes and comments and such. You and Jocelyn, who oftentimes comes in, because I appreciate y'all's support, Margie. But I don't ask people to send me money. I don't have a Patreon. I don't want people to send me money. I don't feel like my content is such that I would have memberships, and I got secret stuff, and I put this out in advance, and I got stuff that only the members get to, that's maybe if I got to the point where that's all I did, and I was creating a lot better content than I create, then maybe I might think about that. But no, I'm not, that's not my thing. But more power to you, Margie. And I know some channels that are smaller than mine that are trying to they want like $1 or $2 a month for a membership, and they're trying to come up with, and they want people to give money to them and all, and financially they probably need it or could probably use it. So I take nothing away from them. If you want to do that, feel free to do that. Help them out. Hillbilly Josh. Hello, Hillbilly Josh. Welcome. So I've talked a lot about the news, and now I want to get into some topics. One of the things I've been talking about lately, as far as topics are concerned, is the idea of power outages. You have a sudden power outage, or I contacted my cousin in Georgia. We didn't have power for 2 weeks. Do you know the hurricane situation? They were without power for 2 weeks. I'm sure their food, anything they had, probably spoiled. Another thing, people have generators, and they're running generator to power a refrigerator and probably a chest freezer or some such, and that's great. But how much fuel do they have? Are they able to get fuel? If the power's out, cell phone towers are probably down. You got to have the cell phone towers in order to get signal. If the cell phone towers are down, you can have a charge your phone, but you can't get a signal out because you're not within range of a tower that's powered. Got to think about that. You got to think about that. So, something happens, car breaks down, you run out of gas, there's a blockage in the road, can't really turn around and go back. Do you have a good pair of walking shoes with you? Are you wearing your high heels because you're at the office and you look better in heels, ladies? Or are you wearing dress shoes? Wearing a suit and a dress shoes? Can you put on some jeans, and do you have some hiking boots or some tennies that you can put on? Gotta think about stuff like that. Mr. Whistle, thank you for coming in. How you doing, Mr. Whistle? Uh, 8 in the house, 8 likes. Please leave a like to support the channel. It will be greatly appreciated. And I'm glad you're doing fantastic. Here's something else. There are people who, and there are states where you can carry. Texas, you don't have to have a permit to carry. Concealed, open, whatever. And then there are places where you got to have a permit. And there are people who carry, and there are people who don't carry. There are people who carry pepper spray or pepper gel. It doesn't work on everybody. You might have Sasquatch attack you. You know, somebody 6'5", 6'6", tough guy who's been sprayed before, who eats that stuff. You know, likes the habanero. So the fact that you have pepper spray or pepper gel doesn't necessarily mean that that's going to stop them. And you got to watch out which way which way's the wind going. If you're in pretty good wind, you got to be careful you don't get blowback from it. Your positioning. So sometimes it won't work. You know, you get these woke nuts, the crazies, decide they want to do something to somebody, or they just go off, like that nut that went after Pelosi's husband with the hammer. Lights were on, nobody was home there. He's crazed. Probably drug-induced, alcohol-induced, mentally ill. There are lots of them out there. And they have tempers, and they can be violent. How are you going to defend yourself? And I know there are people who have tasers. Yoda, my friend Yoda. Hello, Dave. I have not forgotten about you. I slept a good chunk today. I slept a good chunk yesterday. My wife had me helping her do something outside. I had to come in and rest. I've got some years on her, and now that she's feeling better, her birthday's coming up. She wants to go out to the Cleto Park. So I had to help her drag out a couple of kayaks out of storage and some stuff. No, I got a lot of sleep today. Got a lot of sleep yesterday. I go to work tomorrow. Today was a holiday, Veterans Day. Thank all the veterans. Thank them for their service. Thank the responders for their service. Thank law enforcement and EMS and anybody who serves, anybody who risks their life, firemen, firefighters, anybody who risks their lives, law enforcement, anybody who risks their lives on a regular basis. Thank them. They're not doing it to get rich, and they certainly don't make money to get rich. I haven't seen Uncle Al. Six in the house, 10 likes. Right now, Gil Patton, Camp Patton, Family Compound, is on. He's doing a live stream at the same time, so I'm sure probably some of the people would normally be here with me or over there with him, and I'd begrudge you not if you want to slip out and go over and see him. He usually does a lot more prep for his streams and such. He uses StreamYard, he has guests on, and he does a lot more and probably a little more interesting than my streams are. You get me talking about preparedness topics the same way he does. I will tell you something funny that happened today. I was looking at comments, and I don't respond to a lot of times. I'll leave a heart. I'll click the heart. I got to the point where I read them, but I don't necessarily respond to all of them. Sometimes I do respond to them. So somebody had said they hoped, because they looked at my short where I had some chow mein ramen, and they hoped that was not all I could afford to eat. You know, that I was in a situation where I couldn't afford to eat. And, you know, I just laughed and I sent a response. I did a said no, just I enjoy ramen with crackers and coffee. And, you know, it is what it is. It's the truth. So I took a picture that I had done what I did a short on a chow mein, and I showed my coffee cup with a couple of Nescafes and a couple of whiteners, coffee mate, coffee whiteners, and crackers, and my chow mein. And then I took one that hadn't been opened and I put it up, and I took a picture of it, and it's on my community wall. And then I basically tell a little story about how somebody had bought that I couldn't afford. You know, that was all I could afford. And honestly, I have simple taste. I will eat oatmeal as a meal, and I'll put some honey in it, a couple of packets of oatmeal, boiling water, and some honey, and that's a meal. It's a cheap meal. It's healthy for you. I drink 4 or 5 cups of coffee a day. I'm trying to get through this one. I ordered some more. Trying to finish this one off. And I got a ton in storage. I ordered some more. I ordered some more Coffee Mate. 100 pack of Coffee Mate now on Amazon. It's like $15. Hello, Joseph Moore. Hey, enjoy your time with your daughter. That is a priority, and I certainly understand that. Thank you for stopping in, Joseph. God bless you, your missus, and your children. Please leave a like before you leave. Do I like thick oatmeal? I usually do instant oatmeal. We have the traditional oats. My daughter likes the oats, like the Quaker oats, and they'll cook it in a pot, and fairly thick, yeah. And as a boy, oatmeal with sugar, milk, or cream over it. I grew up on that. One of the things, malto meal, what you call cream of wheat, it's another one. I've got a lot of that freeze-dried. Freeze-dried cream of wheat, freeze-dried oatmeal. I've got a lot of it. I mean, I've got pails of that stuff. Several pails of it. So, I try to play the long game. It's like it's like I tell the kid, I may or may not be around 30 years from now, but I've got stuff for you that'll be there 30 years from now. I was talking to her about she's engaged, she's going to be getting married. Enrique Trevino, hello, my friend. Thank you for coming. Oh, we've been talking about a lot of stuff tonight. I'm 28 minutes in. If you want to go back and when this is over and watch about the first 20 minutes, I hit a lot. I had permission from Uncle Al to talk crap tonight, so I did. I was on a rant. He had contacted me, and we had talked about some stuff, topics. So some of the stuff that I run down. Sudden loss of power and cell phone tower signals. You can't get a cell phone tower signal if the cell phone tower doesn't have power. My cousin today, talked to her in Georgia, and I was without power for 2 weeks. So the fridge, the freezer, a little bit rural, no signal, the cell phone, internet. A couple of weeks, you're roughing it. What happens if you have to walk home? Something happens, you know, you work in an office and you wear high heels or you wear dress shoes and you're stuck and you got to walk 10 miles. Well, do you have a pair of tennis shoes or hiking boots you can change into? Do you have some jeans you can put on? Can you change out of your suit or your dress or whatever? Use of pepper spray. There are some crazy woke people out there, some grizzly bear types. What are you going to do if the pepper spray or pepper gel doesn't work on some? Eat that stuff. They're into the habanero or whatever. You get these monsters, and all you got to do is piss them off. It's like, just like some of these. You got a rifle, you got a pistol, and you got this huge animal, and you shoot the damn thing, and you just piss it off. It's like, oh, So that's some of the stuff we've been talking about. Uh, it. You know, there are live stream hosts that are under attack by the woke, or there are people trolls who will make reports and they'll report them for their content, or they'll say that they're doing misinformation and you get checked and then they want to take down your stream, or they want to give you a strike or whatever. You're basically speaking truth, but not their truth. You know. Channels being demonetized. There have been pretty good channels being demonetized and taken down. Yeah, you want some thick socks? You want to change your clothes? You want like your Kirby? My boss, and he's still alive. Mentor of mine, real nice man. Dr. Portis, Maurice Portis, lives in Corpus. Used to work with him. I used to work with him, and then I worked for him. Real nice man. And Portis Country Kitchen has I don't know if he's still got it, but I haven't been down there. It's been a long time, and I haven't visited him. But he always kept a travel bag, and he always kept some clothes in his trunk, where if he wanted to go take a trip, he's good to go. Everything's there. He doesn't have to go pack it up. And after he's taken his trip, he's got to go, repack and clean up everything and go to the cleaners and everything. But as it is, he's good to go. And that's something you should have. You should have the ability to change into some jeans and some socks and some tennies or boots, hiking boots, and, long sleeve, maybe a jacket, a hoodie, whatever you need. You need to have food and water and good carry bag, some means of self-defense, some rain ponchos, and some Mylar blankets and such. You take medication, take your medication. No, wet clothes are not great. Yeah. Hello, Scotum Ranch. I might have mispronounced that. Skocum Ranch. You bought the channel, WD Glock and Roll. You changed your channel name? You know, all right, here we go. I'm having to do some switch up here in order to get you a wrench. Oh, Jesus. Mama 4 boys, how you doing? All right, you are a standard moderator now. Got me jacked up a little bit. Having to switch back now to my other channel. How are you doing, Mom? Eight in the house, 14 likes. So you can tell what we've been talking about. I went over topics. I have been buying some more items, prep related, and I will go through them, and I'll probably put some of them up on my community wall. I'm 4 or 5 short, 5 short maybe, of 1,800. So when I get to 1,800, it will trigger the 1,800 subscriber giveaway drawing, which in order to qualify, I will repeat again, you need to leave me a like and a supportive comment. Be a subscriber, leave me a like and a supportive comment on each of the last 5 videos that I've released when I hit that 1,800. And I don't think I will have released any more videos. I started doing a day. I said, nah. I was going to do one where I was going to boil some mains. You know, I was going to boil a couple of mains. People have trouble with these flameless U.S. flameless ration heaters that people are crazy about. And unfortunately, when they're a couple of years old, it's iffy whether they're going to work or not. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. Mike Pressure Reviews. Hello, Mike. Sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. A lot of times they don't. And somebody was telling me to buy some out of Japan, some of the out of Japan or out of Korea. You can buy some of their FRHs off of eBay, and that theirs burn really well. And I think the problem with ours is that usually when you get them, hello buying space, usually when you get them, the rations are 4 or 5 years old, 6 years old. I mean, like if you get a case of rations of whatever kind you want, and the inspection date is 2024, then they're already 3 years old because they were packaged 3 years prior, so they were probably packaged in 21. And if you get one that the inspect like a lot of the um, military rations that you get now, meals ready to eat, you get a case A or you get a case B, or maybe you buy a case A and a case B, and you pay right at $300 for them. You get 24. There are 24 different menus. Case A has 1 through 12, and Case B has 13 through 24, and you get the whole gamut. And a lot of those that you buy now, if you buy by case lot, but full case, um, a lot of times they'll have like an inspection date of 20 or 21. So if if they had an inspection date of 21, that means they're 6 years old. They were probably packaged in 18. So the components are 6 years old in 24. And a lot of those components, if it's been stored properly, they're still good. And they'll probably be good 10 years from now. But those FRHs, for whatever reason, they don't last. And, that's why whenever you see Mike, he usually, if it's a US FRH, it usually boil it. And there was an old boy that was doing a ration review on a humanitarian. He had bought a case of I guess he bought a case of Sapaco humanitarian daily rations. And you get a case of Sapacos for like $40 right now. They were $30, and then they went up to $50 right after the hurricane. Now they're back to 40, so they're going for $41 now for a case of 10 of them. And they don't have ration heaters, which is a good thing. And they don't have beverages, which is a bad thing. But you can very easily have lemonade, uh, punch, tea, coffee. You can very easily have beverage powders, creamers. Just put a little packet together. Put in a little sandwich bag. Sugar. You can do that. Uncle Al. Hello, Uncle Al. Please leave a like to support the channel. It'd be greatly appreciated. Seven in the house, 15, 16 likes. Well, Uncle Al, I was going through your list of recommendations. I said you had given me permission to go at it, and I was. He'll look at the replay and he'll say, "Stick to script." you know, don't drift. Stick to script. I stuck to that script. I went through and I said, "Boom, boom, 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 boom," and I talked about those things. I talked about those things a couple of more. I threw a couple of more. I said, "The hell with it," and we discussed it. Yeah, I did. The Uncle Al said, "See, I leave him alone and see what happens." And I was saying, Gil Patton is on right now. He's doing one. So I'm sort of competing with him. So if you want to go over there, grudge not. Maybe you've been over there and you just showed up over here, want to know what's going on. There are a lot of people live streaming, and it's like, I'm not competing with anybody. But I will say, I do give back. I try to give back regularly, and I give to people that I feel like are in need of help quietly, usually cash. But then I also send out boxes of stuff to people that I feel like are in need or that I appreciate. I've been doing that for years, for years, and I'm going to continue doing that. Uh, in addition to when somebody wins an 1,800 subscriber giveaway or a 1,900 subscriber or a 2,000 subscriber giveaway. I plan on doing this until I get at least to 2,000. So there'll be at least 3 more subscriber giveaways. I might stop after that. I don't know. I don't ask people for money. You want to send me a box of something other? I appreciate that, and I'll retaliate and send you a box of something other. But I don't have a Patreon. I don't do PayPal. I don't sell merchandise. I don't have memberships. I am monetized, and my thing about being monetized is that watch the ads, let the ads run when you run my stuff. That's how I'll make my money off of YouTube, and eventually they'll send me $100 or a little over $100, like maybe 10 years from now, when they owe me $100. The rancher is going by, was WD Glock and Roll, and now he's going by Skocum Ranch. I started to say scrotum, excuse me. I said scrotum! Sorry. I'm silly. I'm one of those people that love toilet humor. Like, my favorite all-time scene is the cookout scene in Blazing Saddles. Slim Pickens and the boys are out there eating beans, and they're all, it's like methane heaven. More beans, Mr. Taggart? I think you boys have had enough. One of my favorite movies. And I mean, my wife hates toilet humor, but I love the toilet humor. It's just I laugh my head off. It's really funny. I enjoy that. I think about stuff that I've seen. I think about shorts that people have made. There was a short, and it was this very attractive woman, and she goes in, she shuts the door, and she cuts loose and lets out a big one. And there's a man that's walking, big overweight man, and all of a sudden he's struggling against the wind. And I just thought, God Almighty, that was so hilarious, so hilarious. And he's struggling against the wind, and she's just blowing. But I mean, that's just my sense of humor. I'm sorry if it offends anybody, but I thought that was a good one. 10 in the house, 16 likes. So you need to, the same thing with savings. I'll do a Dave Ramsey for a second. And I don't even know if this is Dave Ramsey. He's a big financial, how to get out of debt person. And I've watched him years ago. I used to watch him occasionally years ago. Listen to the radio, be on the radio. He still is, or somebody from his family's on the radio, one of his kids or somebody. And they were talking about, you need to, on a regular basis, you need to have your budget, and you need to know how all your money is accountable. You gotta have a name for everything on your, bills come first. First thing you do when you get paid, set aside all the bill money. First thing, money comes out for the bills. Before you spend a dime on anything else, it's the bills. and then you have money for, you know, your food, your whatever, and then you need to set aside for savings. I was telling my daughter, we were having a talk, and I said, I'm gonna have to get together with you and your husband when y'all finally are married, and we're gonna have to talk about finances, because I help her with her bills, you know, and a lot of her stuff is I pay for. And I said, we're gonna have to have a little talk with your husband on how you're gonna set things up. And I told her, I said, you need to save 15%. So if her take home is $4,000, if her take home is $2,000 every 2 weeks, because she gets paid twice a month. So if her take home is $4,000, then 15% would basically be $300 a check. So she needs to have a savings account where, in her name, not a joint account, in her name, where $300 each check, $600 a month. Now, if you can save more, you can save more, but I mean, that would be my minimum. And then you can have a joint account with your husband, and then you've got a separate. Also, she's carries one of my debit cards, so she's, you know, she's got access to my account. I pay for her gas and for her eats and such. Certain things that she goes and does, her nails and her waxing, and, you know, she's high maintenance, you know, but she's my baby. Um, yeah. The cellophane on this box vibrated. Oh, it's a good one. Uh, uh, there was a movie, and it's been close to 20 years ago, A Knight's Tale. And at the end, they were sitting there having a farting competition, having these big old cheesers. And then somebody finally broke a small one, and everybody, you know, so they were having these big. You know, there was a woman there with them. She's competing with them. She's cutting big ones too. They're all cutting big farts. I like that scene in um, Mel Gibson. He he was the Scottish rebel, and he was talking to the troops. And William Wallace, you know, and he's trying to speak like in a Scottish accent, and he says, "If William Wallace was here, he'd kill the English with lightning bolts from his arse." And arse is how they say ass. Arse, A-R-S-E. And everybody started laughing. Braveheart, yes. Yes. Passing contest. Um, you need portable stoves. Butane, propane, um, canned heat, sterno. You need to be able to boil water in an emergency. You got to. You need all that stuff. And you've got to be squared away in an emergency, because in an emergency you're not going to have access to anything. What you have is what you're going to have. What you have access to is what you have access to. So you gotta you gotta inventory what you have and make a list of what you need. You gotta shop it. You can try to, find cheap, shop it cheap, but you gotta shop it. You gotta, acquire stuff when you can acquire stuff, and you know, and you can prep by set aside. I can afford so much this month for preps. Next month I can afford so much. You know, budget for stuff. Segue from gas to fuel. Um, and you know, and methane is dangerous. It can kill you. It can explode. There was a sewer line down in this big Mexican city 8, 10, 12 years ago. A couple of city blocks blew up. Methane gas in the sewer line, excessive methane gas in the sewer line, and there was an explosion. I don't know how many people have died in that, you know, very densely populated area. A couple of city blocks. And that's, you know, in seriousness. That's horrible. You know. Like certain things you don't want to strike a match near around. Cooking stew. Using hot dog franks. That's good stuff. Good stuff, good stuff, Uncle Al. Good stuff. I did a short here the last couple of days. Big steak. Big steak. My friend had barbecued. Big thick steak. Sirloin. Big, huge steak. Probably 20 ouncer. Big steak. And I did a short of it. Reheated it with ketchup, spicy ketchup. You know, coffee. I've been drinking a lot of coffee. I've had about 4 cups today. I'll put 2 of the coffee packets, 2 whitener packets, boil water, put the boiled water in. And I've got a Keurig and I've got pods, but I'm trying to drink. Trying to get this drink. This will all start as something else. Working my way, it's a 100 pack. That's 50 cups of coffee. And I'm knocking it out. Ed's Dance and Food. Hello. Hello, Gina. Ed's Dance and Food. Thank you for visiting. Christmas vacation, the shitter's full. Okay. All right. Okie doke. Laughing my head off. LOL. Oh, that was what was that? Young Guns. So they're after somebody, and he's in the outhouse with the scatter gun. And Emilio Estevez is talking to his brother. They were in the movie together. Charlie Sheen. And it says, "He's in the shitter. I dare you, go get him." The guy opens the door and fires out from the sitting on the crapper. Oh God Almighty! You know, and I just laughed my head off with that stuff. Cousin Eddie emptied the RV tank in the storm drain and caused a methane explosion. Oh shit! I wouldn't be surprised. That'd be horrible. A methane explosion. Yeah. Yeah. And see, that's something else. If the pumps aren't working, you can get backup. like power outage, the pumps aren't working. So your storm system, your sewer system's not pumping. You can back up. You do not want to get backed up in your house. You get to the point where you can't use your damn restroom. uh, it's the truth. It really is. That, you know, it used to be, you know, the latrine duty. You got to go out 100 feet and build a damn, dig a hole, you know, for a latrine. People go poop in it down in there, and then at some point in time, then they got to basically, you know, shift out of that one because it's full, and then they got to go to another one. And it stinks like, I'm sure it stinks to high heaven. You damn sure better not be smoking out there. Blow yourself up. Christmas vacation, yeah. Yeah. Oh, from the movie? Okay. That one I don't think I saw. I'm not a big Chevy Chase fan. I was never really a big Chevy Chase fan. But it is what it is. So I will say one more time. Sprinkle lime in the outhouse, yeah. The Pit, yep. National Lampoon, yeah. They don't make them the way they used to, and a lot of the funniest ones are dead. They're gone. Used to love Johnny Carson. Back in the days, Johnny Carson. The 70s and the 80s. So I will try to be back tomorrow for another edition. I work tomorrow. I've got a 4-day work week. And Wednesdays is usually meeting day, so I may or may not on Wednesday, depends. I get up around 5 in the morning, 4:35. I'm at work before 7. I'm there all day, pretty much in my room. I've got 2 paraprofessionals, so I usually, if I need something, I send them out. And I got kids all day long. I got kids with me at lunch. I got kids with me conference period. I really don't have a conference period where there's nobody around. I got kids with me just all day long, and I don't mind. They're my kids. You know, they got issues, but it's like the dirty dozen. It's like they're my dirty dozen, but there's 4 of them. This year I only have 4. I may get a couple of more, but right now, you know. Last year I had the Magnificent 7. They weren't magnificent, but there were 7. Okay. Anyway, so everybody, please have a blessed day. Treat people the way you want to be treated. Remember the Scout motto. Be prepared. Everybody, be prepared. And hopefully we'll see you for another coffee talk. Pray, take your medication, drink coffee. Bye-bye.